sometimes on these committees are people that know the organization very well, but might not have been involved in the selection of a speaker in the first place. What I would say to that particular group is the best speakers will work with you. Okay, it's really a team effort. Everyone's aligned. We want a great conference. We want to make sure that, as a speaker, when we're on a stage, we're delivering stuff that's of great value. So here's this, you know, if you use the time, your time, and there's only so many hours as a volunteer, for example, okay, to help the speaker understand what's new about, what's important about the industry, right? This really helps. Call it the first set of interviews, if you will, right? And I think that makes a big difference, right? Because the more you know as a speaker, the greater you can customize it, right? So that's number one. Share your knowledge of the industry. Number two is connect the speaker with people who are representative audience members. Sometimes it's the most influential people. Sometimes it's some of the veterans who've been there a long time. Sometimes it's kind of the young Turks, the people who are young and up and comers, etc. Right? Sometimes it's a particularly important demographic, right? And just so that you're able to connect the speaker to all of those different um, constituencies will make a big difference. Most speakers will have a pre-event survey where we'll ask like a few dozen questions, and some of them seem very silly, but they make a big difference. And so I've got one of those, of course, and ask questions everything from who spoke in prior years to the demographics of the group to a whole bunch of other, some mechanical things about, the precise timing and contact information and everything. And every question on a professional speaker's list is actually important. I'll give you an example. Why in the world would I care about who spoke last year? The answer is that likely I know them. And what I can do is I can call them up and I can say, talk to me about what it was like actually speaking at this event. Tell me about the types of people you met. Talk to me about any particular interesting research or customization that you did. Is there anything that you might have done differently in terms of your preparation with this particular client? Is there anything that you think that could um, that you spoke about that I might want to sort of reprise and give you credit for in front of the group? Last year when so and so spoke, he talked about such and such. She talked about this or that. Maybe I can make reference to that, right? And so every question has got something keyed to it in terms of the type of preparation that one might actually do. And I think that's the biggest thing. I think the other thing is to recognize that the best speakers will follow your process. Most speakers have got a process, so when somebody hires me to speak, I'll send an email saying thank you, and I'll give my bio and I'll give my the final description of the talk, and I'll talk about a whole bunch of other logistical things, about AV needs and so on and so forth, etc. And some organizations will write back and say, that's amazing. That's so helpful. Thank you. Thank you. Others will preempt me to it and say, we're so pleased to have you there. Okay, here's the portal. Can you please upload your bio? Can you please upload a photo? Can you please upload the description? Okay, so whatever your process is, as long as the speaker knows what it is, that way they're able to work with you in a very efficient way. And they you don't want somebody who's needy, right? So you want to make it so that it's easy to work with, that they can add value. I'd also say this, most professional speakers, certainly who've been around a long time, know a lot about what works and what doesn't at conferences, really cool things that they've seen others do that maybe you might consider. So a great question to ask a professional speaker, either before you've hired them or after, is what other ways do you think we might be able to engage our audience? What can we do to make this particular meeting, this particular event, stand out? Are there ways that you think that we haven't considered, given that you've seen our call to speakers, etc. And then all of a sudden you'll have all kinds of different ways of doing it. There's so many different formats that are exciting, they're new, right? And death by PowerPoint is kind of not one of them, right? And so by varying up the format of all the different things that you've got, um, it provides some really interesting engagement opportunities for the audience.